My name is Sarah, and for a long time, I believed I had it all. A thriving career, a beautiful home, two wonderful children, and a husband named Michael who was, in many ways, my best friend. We had been married for 15 years, and it felt like we had weathered every storm together. We had built a life that was strong, secure, and grounded in love, trust, and mutual respect. Or at least, that's what I wanted to believe. It wasn't that everything was perfect. We had our disagreements, our struggles, our ups and downs. But I had always believed that we would stand by each other, that we would face any challenge together. But somewhere along the way, something changed. I began to feel restless, a persistent sense that something was missing, that the life we had wasn't enough. I began to question my choices, second-guessing everything, and wondering if marrying Michael had been the right decision. It wasn't that I didn't love him, but there was a part of me that began to crave something more, something different, something I couldn't define. I felt this most acutely during our conflicts. When our disagreements escalated into arguments, followed by long stretches of silence, I started to wonder if this was all there was, if this was what our marriage had become. And that silence, it was the hardest part. It hung over our home like a heavy fog, echoing through empty rooms, louder than any words. It consumed me, eating away at my soul, making me question everything I had believed about our relationship. I had become frustrated, discontent, and a person I didn't even recognize anymore. Then came that night, the night everything changed. It was a typical argument, a trivial disagreement that spiraled out of control. I was angry, frustrated, and exhausted. I said things I didn't mean, things I could never take back. Words that would haunt me for the rest of my life. We were in the living room, my voice raised, my heart pounding, and I felt like I was finally reaching my breaking point. I just wanted to hurt him. And so, without thinking, I let it out. I said the words that had been festering inside me for so long, words filled with anger, resentment, and frustration. I said them without thinking, without considering the consequences. I regret marrying you. Those words, like venom, spilled out of my mouth. I didn't truly mean them, not fully, but they were a reflection of the pain, the emptiness I had been carrying. I wanted to hurt him, to make him feel the anguish I felt. And I wanted to escape the sadness, the disappointment, and the pain that had become my life. But once said, those words could not be unsaid. And everything changed in an instant. He looked at me, his eyes filled with a mixture of shock, disbelief, and deep, profound sadness that cut straight through me. I saw the hurt on his face, and for a fleeting moment, I regretted what I had said. But it was too late. The damage was done. He didn't yell. He didn't scream. He didn't lash out. He simply looked at me, his expression cold, more terrifying than any anger. Then he turned and walked out of the room. I watched him leave, and a wave of panic crashed over me. I realized with horrifying clarity that I had destroyed everything. I stood frozen, the weight of my words pressing down on me. I wanted to take them back, to apologize, to explain, but the words wouldn't come. I had crossed a line I couldn't uncross. The next morning he was gone. His clothes, his belongings, all gone. The house was eerily silent, like he had never been there. He left a note, short and detached. I can't do this anymore. I've filed for divorce. Don't try to contact me. And just like that, he was gone. From my life. From our home. From my heart. The silence that followed was deafening. The house felt empty. The children were confused, and I was left alone to face the consequences of my actions. The weight of my choices was crushing. It felt like a nightmare where everything I had ever cared about had been ripped away, leaving me with nothing but regret and shame. I tried to reach him, called, texted, searched for him, but it was as though he had vanished. I had become a ghost in my own life, a haunting reminder of everything I had destroyed. I filed for divorce, went through the legal proceedings, and when everything was finalized, I was left alone, legally, personally, and emotionally. It was all my fault. The divorce was messy, painful, and public. It left me with nothing but heartbreak and the awful realization that I had destroyed everything I had ever loved, all because of a few thoughtless words. Looking back, I understand now that it wasn't just about those words. It was about all the emotions I had been suppressing, resentment, frustration, loneliness, that had finally exploded in a moment of anger. But those words, once spoken, had consequences I could never undo. They destroyed me. Now, I'm left with a hollow ache, a constant reminder of what I lost, what I destroyed, all because I let my anger dictate my actions. This is my confession, a cautionary tale about the power of words and the irreversible damage they can cause when spoken without care, without thought, and with the intent to hurt. I was a wife who betrayed her vows, a woman who destroyed her family, a fool who spoke words that can never be unsaid. And now I am paying the price. I am left to live with the guilt, the shame, and the knowledge that I will never be able to forgive myself. So, I ask you, is there any way to make amends for something like this? Is there any way to undo the damage I've caused? Or am I doomed to wander in this wasteland I created, haunted by the ghost of the words that destroyed my life? I don't know if I can bear to face the answer.